Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside J DAWG.
Mike, it's good to see you. We almost canceled the show today. Eagles, Chiefs, we almost just said, nope, we'll come back in 2 weeks.
I regret I did not bet the Chiefs this entire way again. I've been betting on other teams, and I regret it. Is this not a repeat of 2020? Is this like when were they there, the Eagles and the Chiefs?
2023 Super Bowl. It's only 2 years ago that we just had this. It's always Chiefs and somebody. We had Chiefs Niners. Now it's Chiefs and the Eagles. I'm not excited. I texted mutual friend yesterday before the games. I said, I'll do anything to not get Chiefs Eagles again. And sure enough, you could have put money line on it at the time because it was bound to happen once I said it. We're getting Chiefs Eagles.
I don't love it, but I do like that it's like, if they can do this, get the three-peat back-to-back, they're the best. And it almost seems like Tom Brady actually did just hand the reins off to Mahomes. I mean, we can dive into the game, but I felt like Josh Allen, in times that he needed to make a play, would just bomb the ball down the field. I'm like, this is not a play. Like, you can't just rely on God to interfere with something. I will also say that there were a lot of bad calls.
Of course, we're going to get to the bad calls. That's a huge part of it.
Too many penalties, like every few minutes penalties. You got to eliminate the penalties, but they also did change the referee team right before the game to help with the penalties, or help at least
help the Chiefs commit more or commit less penalties again.
Well, it's supposed to be helpful for Buffalo, but
that didn't work. The controversy is here. The game was rigged. I want to talk about that in a minute. But you're right about your first point, Mike. Josh Allen came out throwing the ball all over the place, dropping crucial snaps. The guy played the cleanest game, or the cleanest season, all the way up to the playoffs. They have such a good season. He's obviously going to be MVP. And all of a sudden, he looks like me or you with our anxiety out there on the AFC Championship field. The guy couldn't catch a snap or make a good decision. He should have had 2 picks on the first drive alone. And then late in the game, of course, he's making maybe not the best decisions. Some people think on that crucial 4th down that Kincaid could have caught, Shakir's wide open on the left side. That should be your dump off there. Even in that moment, maybe he didn't make the right decision.
Yeah, it just was a confusing game because, you're like, okay, they're keeping it close. They're coming back. Like, that first half took forever, it felt like. Like, it was the longest first half ever. That random play where he threw up the ball and 2 guys caught it, but it touched the ground, and they called it Chiefs ball.
It touched the ground, right?
100% touch. Yeah. And also, the Buffalo player, I forgot even who caught it. Was it, this wasn't Coleman, was it? It was somebody. Somebody caught the ball above the defender. And then they both fell to the ground, but they gave it to the Chiefs. Didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, that ball touched the ground. Like, we've been watching football a long time. In no world, when a football touches the ground, is it a catch. So I don't know what happened there. But yeah, it felt like a weird game. It felt like there were glimmers of hope for Buffalo to do it, but you knew once it got down to that one score, it was like, Chiefs got it. Like, this is their bread and butter. 1-score games, 2 minutes left on the clock.
That's what they do. And the Chiefs played a clean game. And so Buffalo going into Kansas City, they've been through this many times in the playoffs. Josh is already 0-3 coming into the game. They know they need to play a clean game with no turnovers. They didn't have any turnovers, even though it felt like they had a bunch. And then, you're right, it's the refs after that. The Bills didn't play a clean game, and then the refs got them. The Chiefs played cleaner. The 4th down spot for Josh Allen I thought was really bad. That's the one that people are talking about today. It looked like he got the first down. Maybe it was impossible to tell, but it really looked like he got it more than he didn't get it. And Gene Steratore also said he probably got that first down. He's their official.
I don't know. It almost seems like a reffing the game differently in these moments, because during normal games, most times there's not that many penalties. There's not that many looks. It's like, okay, we're going to spot the ball here. It's first down. It seemed like everybody was on edge and trying to make sure this game was reffed 100% accurately instead of giving a little. I don't know. Kansas City, they're a great team. They're probably going to beat the Eagles. I still don't like Jalen Hurts. I can't believe Saquon, how good he is.
I know.
You watch him, and I bet on the Commanders, and I was like, Saquon touched the ball once and got a touchdown. The game's over. Literally.
I was getting ready for the games yesterday. It was about 3:05, 5 minutes after the first game starts. I was like, wow, it's sunny out. It's never sunny and warm in Connecticut. I'm going to step outside for a minute and just come back to this because the game's just starting. By the time I took the elevator downstairs, you're like, Saquon's too good. I was like, what happened? He already had a 60-yard touchdown on the first play of the game, and from there it was off to the races. I think it's so ironic that a running back is the best player on the field in the NFC Championship game. Maybe it tells you how bad the NFC is, and we knew this all year long. We knew the Super Bowl winner would come from the AFC, whether it was the Bills, the Ravens, or the Chiefs, or the Steelers at one point, and sure enough, the NFC is not up to it. The Eagles, I still look at them as yeah, they're here, Did they earn it? Should they be here? Are they one of the two best teams in the NFL? I think the answer is no to all of that. They had a rough season. We don't trust their coach. Their quarterback's not good at throwing the ball, which is what quarterbacks should do. They happen to have a great free agent signing that runs all over people. It's ironic that it's a running back, but I don't think the Eagles are that impressive still.
Yeah, and you could see like Jalen was holding the ball too long and he was getting sacked and running around. And it just, I don't know. Both games to me felt like, yeah, I wanted the Commanders. I thought it'd be great, but I should have known. I should listen to myself in the manifesto. You do not bet
rookie quarterbacks don't make the Super Bowl. They just don't do it.
No, you don't do it. And I don't know what's going on. So that's it. We have Chiefs. Yeah, at least we have our Chiefs gear. We're all ready.
Yeah, I got my Kelsey jersey. Yeah. So in the playoff draft, a little conflicted. I have the Eagles remaining. You have the Chiefs. So we like it when there's two teams like this at the end. Of course, if the Bills would have had a better drive at the end of the game and Josh Allen scores there, then you're out. And then I got Eagles, Bills all locked up, but it's not to be. So you got the Chiefs. I got the Eagles. I'm not wearing Eagles green. I will wear my Kelsey jersey. I have a question for you about the rigging the game and the whole official thing with the Chiefs. I have a question. Yes, they're doing that. Clearly, they're doing that all season for the Chiefs. But why are they doing that for the Chiefs? Did Roger Goodell and Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce make a deal with the devil and say, we're going to protect you if you date each other and bring us recognition? Because everyone I talk to, us included, is not excited for Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl again. So what was the point in rigging everything to get the Chiefs here if we're not excited about it and the ratings might ultimately go down?
Well, first we have to go down the conspiracy theory color of the logo, which it is red and green.
You're right. We talked about this a few weeks ago. You nailed it.
I don't know why we just don't bet off the new color every year. We should have known. There's only a few teams that could be there. We should have bet it. Red and green. There's only a few red AFC teams. Like, just bet that team. I'm going to do it next year. I'm going to be blind and just put the blinders on, be like, I'm listening to what we've seen, what history is repeated.
You're right.
That's a conspiracy. I think also, it's great for the NFL. You have Taylor Swift at another Super Bowl on the field with Travis Kelce. I don't know how.
Are we not fatigued of this, Mike? Are we not? Haven't we seen this all before? What is going to happen that we haven't seen in regards to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce? An engagement or a retirement? Those are the two things left to do. I thought both were going to happen last year, and we're right back in the same situation.
I just think this year it's like it brings more eyes. Girls want to watch it. It's like Taylor Swift is there. You're going to tune in, and they're going to get more viewers this year. And it's just going to be like, yeah, this is what we needed. We needed another Taylor Swift Super Bowl.
I don't know the variables involved in what I'm about to say. Maybe there'll be a snowstorm on the East Coast and it'll be the best watched Super Bowl ever because people can't leave. Maybe it's the Chiefs and the Eagles and people just will watch it no matter what. I am here to tell you the ratings will be down for the Super Bowl. People, football fans, are not into this because we've seen it repeatedly and we're sick of the refs and we're sick of Mahomes and Kelce. I used to be a Chiefs fan. I used to root for them. I, a Miami Dolphins fan, was rooting for Josh Allen and the Bills yesterday just to stop the madness. Stop doing what we keep getting every single year, and yet here we are. I'm not excited about it. Of course, I'm going to turn it on. Of course, I'll be a part of the ratings in the Super Bowl. I'm not excited about it. If there's a way to measure that, I think the NFL is going to have a problem going in because people are actually going to turn their back on this matchup.
I don't know. I kind of disagree. I feel like no one's watching the NBA. The NFL is the story. I don't see any storylines about the NBA, like what's going on weekly. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. We used to talk about NBA so much. Now we don't. We don't care. It's like LeBron's old, Steph Curry's old, everybody's old. We don't care anymore.
We're going to talk about it a lot more next season.
We will.
Yeah, next season.
Maybe we'll talk about it next season, but right now there is no NBA talk. We're only talking NFL. It's going to be on the minds of everybody for the next 2 weeks. It's in New Orleans. Fun place to go. Great city, the Super Bowl, right? You got got the whatever
Bourbon
Street, Bourbon
Mississippi
Street.
River, the casino's right downtown. We've had some fun in New Orleans.
Yeah. And I just think, I don't know. I think ratings are going to be over what they were last year if we had to place a bet on it.
Over the Niners? No, I'm going under. People are sick of it. Let's make a bet.
I'm going to look up Super Bowl ratings for what, 2024, right? Or 2020?
Yeah, there's a disqualifier here, and people will think I'm a nerd for saying that, but there is a sports media thing going on where you can now measure out-of-home viewing, so all the ratings are higher than they used to be because like sports bars and airports are all a part of it. That's a caveat to me saying this is not going to beat last year.
So last year, they averaged 120 million viewers. And they had 123.7 million viewers across all platforms.
It's a lot of viewers this year. The Super Bowl is also free on Tubi. Did you see that? No sign-in needed.
I did see that. I wonder, are we getting 4K or is it 1080? I might try it out.
Maybe SD.
Maybe it could be SD. It's free. Maybe we'll get
But it's the
double
first
the ads.
unauthenticated Super Bowl that I am aware of. That's pretty cool for people who, like us, they pay for YouTube TV, but it's so expensive. It's like, hey, maybe you don't need anything. You just go watch for free on Tubi.
Might have to put a pause to YouTube TV for a little while. I feel like I don't turn it on. Like I turn it on for news. We had fires. I turned it on for local news to see what's going on.
You don't even need it. Peacock has local news for much less, Mike. A few other NFL topics I want to get to before we move on to some other stuff. Tom Brady is running the show in Las Vegas. I am so disturbed by the reporting coming out of Las Vegas this week. He just did that Lions-Commanders game that we talked about 2 weeks ago, and then he spent like hours and hours with Ben Johnson interviewing him. This is such a conflict. I want him out of the booth right away. I don't even want him to do the Super Bowl. I wish Greg Olsen would come in and do the Super Bowl. I know he had a better day yesterday. He didn't have any huge errors. I still think he's got one foot out the door to the Raiders. He's running everything. He brought Pete Carroll in. Like, none of it makes sense. Go do that. Don't do TV.
What do you think about the Pete Carroll hire in Vegas? He's old. He is the oldest coach coming in. He looks good, but he's old.
Does he look good still? Because I saw him today in the Raiders building, and he was kind of limping around, and I was like, ooh, Pete doesn't look so good anymore.
I always felt like he had a little
year
limp
off.
on him.
I know, but Pete looked a little older. I don't know. You can't cheat Father Time forever. We've seen it across the board. I think it's like a stopgap year for them where maybe they'll have Pete to kind of right the ship, bring some culture, bring the vibes, and then they go back out there with a quarterback and a coach and get someone. Clearly, they couldn't land Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson literally chose your boy, Caleb Williams, over the Raiders, which is a slap in their face.
Well, it's weird because he stays in the division, right? So Ben Johnson goes over there to Chicago. I didn't really like that move. I felt like I get it because you have a lot of assets. You have a lot of like talent there, possibly. So I don't know.
I'll tell you what Ben Johnson did. Ben Johnson lost to the Commanders because Jalen Daniels was a better quarterback than Jared Goff. And Ben Johnson stayed up that whole night and said, damn, I cannot take a head coaching job in Oakland, for example, with a shit quarterback. Sure. I need to go to a place where there's a quarterback. And you might not like it, but he went to a place with Caleb Williams that he thinks he can develop. And this might be bad for your Caleb Williams take. Ben Johnson might save Caleb Williams. He might revitalize his whole career.
Well, that's what we're going to see next year. So my hopes are pretty low, but if Caleb can come out and look like a better quarterback, and we've seen Jared Goff, he was never the best quarterback. If they can rehab him and make him a better quarterback, I'm in, but I just don't see it happening. But I felt like Vegas is more fun. You're in a funner city. It's not as cold. Pete's there. He's going to bring some energy to it. You're in a really tough division. You're probably never going to win the division because you got a lot of better teams.
That's a problem. That's a real problem. Until Andy Reid steps away and Patrick Mahomes steps away,
he's going to be there a while. So that's what's going on. Real quick, I want to talk about Magic Mind.
Let's do it.
I was telling you right before the show, I was like, I have been doing my protocol for Magic Mind right now. I take a little bit of coffee in the morning, hour later, pop myself one of the mental performance shots. I don't know what's in it. I mean, I do know what's in it. The ingredient list is very limited, but it's great. It is some of the best stuff I've ever taken. It does feel like you're just locked in. You're not jittery. You're feeling good. And I took it today, so I don't know if you noticed, but I haven't had no crash today. Usually I want like a midday nap. No midday naps here.
The nap is canceled.
Nap was canceled from it. I love it. If you guys want to get some 45% off, go to magicmind.com/TSHJan. You can get 45% off. It's great, Jeremy. And I know you have not tried the sleep performance yet, but I'm going to try that tonight. I'm going to let everybody know how it goes. But I do love it. It's a very small shot, too. You don't need a lot of it. It's just a very small little bottle. And it's great. I love it. So I don't know. I can't tell you enough about it.
Mike is so legitimate here because he was just telling me before the show started all these same things and no one was recording or listening to it. Just me, who's already a Magic Mind customer because I have the promo code. And you talk about what coffee does and what Magic Mind does to emphasize it. And it's that crash-free energy. Coffee, you're always trying to crash after. You're always trying to take a nap after. You don't have to. You have better recall, thinking, and problem solving with the mental performance shot. Mike, it reduces stress because it balances cortisol levels. You're like, what does it do? That's exactly what it's doing. It's balancing our cortisol inside of our bodies. Sustain your mental wealth in the new year. Use that promo code to get you some mental performance. And like Mike said, there's also a sleep performance shot that you're going to send me. I need to try that out.
Yeah. Use the code TSHJAN. You can go to magicmind.com/TSHJAN. All right. What do you got?
Mike, there is someone who needs some magic mind. Can you also send a package to Dallas? Jerry Jones needs a little something. He needs a little something to make better decisions because he hired a terrible, terrible coach. And to get into this little segment, I thought we could play a game. Guess that tweet.
Let's do it now. I know we haven't played this in a while.
This is a shocker for Mike. Let's see if he can locate it.
Guess that.
Love it, Mike. The Cowboys situation is so bad, we had to bust out Guess That Tweet. I actually have two of them for you. They hired Brian Schottenheimer, which is crazy, but I have a literal quote here. I want you to tell me who said this about the new Cowboys coach, Brian Schottenheimer. Here it is.
Yeah.
Quote, Brian Schottenheimer is known as a career assistant. He ain't Brian no more. He is now known as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Somebody said that? Like, is that a good tweet? That seems like I'm up in the late night tweeting about a guy that is a lifelong
He said
assistant.
he ain't Brian no more, so he renamed him as the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Who said that?
I have no idea. Who said it?
Jerry Jones said that.
Jerry
Jones, the guy who needs the magic mind himself. Mike, Jerry Jones is like Joe Biden, aging in public before our eyes. The guy did a press conference today, and he alluded to the fact that some people out there think the Cowboys have a little championship drought. Jerry, you do. It's been 30 years, man. That's exactly what you have. And it's so hard to watch these people age on television when they're in power. America and the Dallas Cowboys, two proud institutions that have faltered due to poor old leadership recently. It's just crazy. I have another guess.
Yeah, give it to me.
I think you're going to like this one.
Okay.
Sick with the flu and then hit with doo-doo. That's a real quote.
Is that
related to the Cowboys situation?
No,
good guess.
AB.
Really good guess. Another receiver who might comment on the Cowboys. Who could that be? You're really close.
I don't know. Everybody.
Michael Irvin tweeted that.
Michael Irvin.
Irvin. He wanted Deion Sanders, and so he tweeted sick with the flu and then hit with doo-doo after Jerry announced their coach. So that's how things are going in Dallas right now.
Didn't Jerry say that this was out of his comfort zone as well, that he got Brian Schottenheimer to do this and be the head coach? You're hiring within. Nothing's going to change. I don't know if you've seen the offense. Offense has not been good. So let's see. Are they going to bring in an offensive coordinator? What are they going to do? Jerry needs to step away. Let the team operate, hire all the people, step away, and I'm sure you'd be surprised how much better it gets. People want to play in Dallas. It's America's team. Maybe not for long, but it is America's team. People want to play there. But Dak is not the answer. And with this offensive coordinator now becoming head coach, might not be the answer either. Now, I don't know much about Marty Schottenheimer, but I imagine he was better than his son. I assume that is
Marty was a great head coach, but it turns out that great fathers don't always translate down to their sons. It just doesn't 100%. It doesn't always work that way. Sometimes it does, but Brian's never had a head coaching interview in the league. He's never been asked. No one's ever even thought to ask him. And you know, these coaches, they do 10 interviews. These teams will do 10, 15 interviews per cycle trying to find the guy. They picked a guy who will be a yes man to Jerry and continue to please him, which is just disturbing. Even in the Biden White House, Mike, drawing these parallels again, they insulated him. They protected him. They kept him away from cameras and everything. Jerry's out there spitting words into a microphone. At least keep him outside, make decisions for him, run the salary cap without him, and just tell him he's doing a great job. At least then he won't ruin your franchise. But until then, he's literally ruining.
Now, it is a weird thing because it's like, they're all in a league together. They see what all the other coaches are doing. You can hire from outside of the NFL. You could even hire somebody from college football and bring them in. You don't have to hire within a pool that's just sitting there and you saw what they're doing. I think it's a weird place to be when your franchises are so bad. So we have a few franchises that are not operated like the best. You could say maybe the Jets are one of them, or maybe you can say the Panthers. You could say certain ones, you get these like crazy billionaires in and they don't know what to do. They're just like, yes to you. Maybe they're playing like a Madden game or something. I don't know what Jerry's doing. It's sad to be a Dallas fan. At least I'm not a Dallas fan. I know it's sad to be a lot of other franchises too, but something's not good there. And poor Jerry, he's getting old. I don't know how old the man is, but every time I see him on camera, he looks older and older and older on camera.
And it's the things he says, right? It's like the things he says, his actions, they're all old. He's 82, but he looks like he's going on 100 the way he's acting. There's one more coaching situation I wanted to talk about. I don't know. Did you have the Buck situation on your rundown today?
I didn't totally understand. I kept seeing like tweets back and forth. The OC was like trying to get like stay in Tampa, and then he was interviewing it with the Jags, and then drove back, I guess, and then like was going to take the position of the OC again in Tampa, but then signed for the head coach in Jacksonville and did a press conference today and just said Duval, and I have no idea what that means.
He said Duval inappropriately, wrong. He really emphasized Duval in the wrong way, which could really cost him. It could be like a Nick Sirianni first press conference. He's really starting in the doghouse in Jacksonville. I do have a friend, this is a real life. I know it sounds like it's fake, but I have a friend who has Jaguars season tickets. I know, I didn't think that existed either. Oh. He said he's not happy with the Duval pronunciation already. Also, Mike, if we're experts on one thing on planet Earth, it's the I-4 corridor, Tampa to Jacksonville. We've done Tampa to Orlando a lot. Yeah. We've done Orlando to Jacksonville. Yeah. We know that's not a fun drive, and we know that drive can make you ponder your entire life decisions. And that's probably what Liam Cohen was doing as he went back and forth. The scandal city of it, though, the scandal city that I love is the Jaguars had a GM. Liam Cohen, the Bucs offensive coordinator, goes to interview. He says, I don't get along well with this GM, goes back to Tampa, is about to sign a deal, verbally agrees to the highest paid offensive coordinator in NFL history, which Bucs, Jay Glazer, didn't know you guys could do that. Didn't know you were throwing money around.
Swinging money around.
People are buying Bucs tickets. They weren't back in our day, so now they are. That's great. Pirate ship is firing. But then the Jags and Shad Khan calls Liam Cohen and says, I'll do anything you want. I'll fire this man. I will fire our GM. And sure enough, the Jags GM or the Jags owner fired the Jags GM, and now it's wide open. And now Liam Cohen, the Bucs think that he's signing. It's a verbal agreement. He's away the whole next day. He's not returning the Bucs calls until 5 p.m. the next day. And then at 5 p.m. he calls his employer, the Bucs, and says, my kid was sick. Mike, I deal with urgent situations. You have a sick kid. You probably don't wait till 5 o'clock to notify the upper management if something's going on with you, especially when you're about to sign a contract to be the highest paid coordinator ever. And then he ends up back to the Jags where he can pick his own head coach now, and he is the Jags head coach. Really a crazy story.
We knew that guy was going to fire him when he was in an interview, Shad Khan or whatever. Wasn't he like 3 weeks ago in an interview with the GM? And like basically said, yeah, I'd fire him if head coach didn't want
the right one. Yeah. I was on a Zoom call with reporters and Trent Baalke himself. But it's Trent Baalke's own fault. When you're a bad GM for a long time, it's your own fault.
So I don't know what's going to happen there. They need a new GM, and you needed something to happen there. So I'm kind of glad it happened, but it is definitely a weird scenario. But he basically like got what he wanted, right? He probably got paid more as a head coach. He boosted his OC salary even higher and said, hey, look, I'm going to get paid this. I need at least double to be your head coach. So good for him. Negotiation. What was it? There's like Trump has like a book. It's like the art of the deal.
The art of the deal, right? Yeah.
And he's doing that right now. Trump is like out there
doing
saying
it with
like,
Colombia, right?
Yeah, like, hey, we're gonna put tariffs. It's like if you don't accept these people in planes, and they're like, okay, well, we'll accept them. That's, I guess, the art of the deal that's happening right now.
That's pretty good. Trump was on full art of the deal display last week. He was at a table. Karen Bass was 2 seats down. They were kind of sparring in front of each other. That was maybe the best match or game I saw this week.
Yeah, it was pretty good. If you watch that interview with it, Trump's like, a week's too long. We got to get people in there right now.
I love it. He's like being real with them.
I don't know what else to say about the Jags situation. It's a terrible franchise anyway. So if they got to bring in a better GM and have somebody, not the Giants GM, because that guy's pretty bad too, because he let go of Saquon, which. Is that guy fired, by the way?
No, he kept his job. Remember, we did a show recently where all the bad GMs all got a free pass. It was the Jags, who didn't last long, the Giants, and the Dolphins. They all get to continue. Except
that guy should lose his job in New York.
Yeah, he should. But instead, they have the 3rd overall pick, so he's going to draft another quarterback. Imagine if he takes Shedeur Sanders, for example, and it doesn't work, but he gets 5 more years to figure it out.
I'll probably do that. I don't think there's many choices, right? It's like, I feel like people are saying there's like 3 or 4 guys at the top, and then everybody else, it's like they're swapping them back and forth between like 5 and 10.
Don't jump me on NFL offseason content. We have months to go here. But you're right. There's 2 good quarterbacks at the top, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. We got Travis Hunter, who plays both sides of the ball, and an elite edge rusher, Abdul Carter from Penn State. Those should be the top 4, but the quarterbacks are worse than normal. So like the Browns, number 2, they might need a quarterback, but maybe they shouldn't take one because the guy at number 2 available might not be very good.
Well, we'll see what happens. Also, next week, we're going to do a props. I want to do a props show. I'm going to really dive in deep. I've been loving same game parlays, so I'm going to put together a ton of same game parlays to win some money. None of them hit recently, but I was always very close to hitting a lot of same game parlays.
Wait, you gave up on SGPs 2 weeks ago. You're back.
Oh, I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. I can't step away too long. Do you want to talk about the Super Bowl matchup at all before all the hype cycle gets in and all the news gets in there? Do you want to Do you have a winner in mind? Do you have what's going to happen? Perfect. I also want to do guess the score of the game because those are like 20, 30, 40 to 1, sometimes 100 to 1.
I like that. The boxes, right? The boxes game. What's that called? Is that quarters?
Squares.
Yeah. Different shape. Yeah, squares will come back. That's good. Yeah. I'm not excited about the matchup, Mike. The refs will just make sure that the Chiefs win again, I think.
Chiefs are definitely, I think the Chiefs are going to win.
What's the line? Do we know the
one? It's
line?
1.5. Chiefs 1.5.
Seems too small.
Yeah, but it seems like the Chiefs like those really close games.
You're right. Always close games.
Always close games. So
yeah,
we'll see. I mean, Saquon there could also change the game too. I don't think they've like ran into a running back that is like that good. So we'll kind of see. But I thought Cook was also pretty good yesterday.
James Cook's very good. He's your dynasty running back. So I know you're a fan of him. I traded him to you this year.
I know. It was a great trade. Well, we made the finals and you got Worthy.
Who'd I get? I got a great player, Xavier Worthy. 2
Worthy.
stars of the AFC Championship game.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win. I was so happy. Xavier Worthy was being featured so much. I was like, that man is a good keeper next year.
He was the only person being featured in that game. Like no one else. Like where was Hollywood Brown and DeAndre Hopkins?
He had one catch. Like a few weeks ago, Hopkins had like 5-6 catches. Now he had one catch.
I don't know what's going on. Is he injured or something? Because like Hopkins, I feel like is the best receiver, but he must be that old that just like retirees go to Kansas City.
Young legs come January 26th. That's who you got to run out.
It's true. But they did have like 3 weeks off before a lot of these games. So they had like a lot of rest. And Travis Kelce looks very, I don't know if he's really fast and just big that makes him look slow, or is he actually that slow?
He's not fast. You said fat?
No, not fat. Fast.
He's fat.
Okay.
He catches the ball on these little hooks and he like runs upfield to get away from the defender, then does a little curl back, and sometimes it works. It's like they never expect it. It might be part of the rigging of the league. I don't know. He looked really old in that game.
Yeah.
He caught his second catch of the game late. Like he was going to finish with one catch for 8 yards for a minute there.
It's not good.
Really not impressive. Maybe he has a big game in the Super Bowl, but more likely that he goes 2 for 19 and retires. That's what
I think he definitely retires at the end of the season because like his brother first of all, the Kelce brothers need to cut it out on TV. Like we don't need a late night Kelce show on ESPN. That we do not need.
The late night show is not good. It's so awkward. He's awkward. The guests are awkward. It's like, where's the flow?
I don't know. They just like give him money. He's popular. They're making so much money. Like I don't know what their Wondery deal was, but I think it was like $100 million. Kelce does not need football. Kelce has made plenty of money off the field. He's got to retire if he wins 3-peat. It's over for Kelce for sure.
If you turn on like network TV these days, like CBS or ABC during the week, it's like all game shows. Apparently that's all they make anymore. They don't make many real shows because all the streamers make that. Travis and Jason could just host like every show, just like Michael Strahan does. Like just go host every show, probably get paid like $10 million a show, which is more than he's making as an NFL player, and like not get hit, not get tackled, not throw up in training camp. So you're right. That's probably the reason to watch the Super Bowl, is to see if he'll finally.
He probably will. I will say, by the way, my favorite new game show is on Amazon Prime Video. Pop Culture Jeopardy with Colin Jost from SNL.
Oh, okay.
Great. It's so good. It's like stuff you would actually know. I mean, sometimes you know stuff in real Jeopardy, but this is like TV show trivia, pop culture stuff, music, art, stuff like that.
Mike, you should go represent the Sports Hangover on the show. You know, they shoot that right over in Culver City.
Needs to be 3 of us on the show. It's a team of 3.
I don't know if I'm good at the pop culture. Mutual friends not, so we got to round up some people.
Yeah, it's a fun show. I do it with Erin. Erin knows nothing about pop culture, and
don't bring her on.
Yeah, she only knows everything about Friends. She can tell you about episodes and names of everything in Friends.
That's so interesting. Does she not go on TikTok all day like the rest of us?
She doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't go on TikTok. Yeah, just Instagram. Yeah, it's we're old. Millennials. We're getting there.
We're not that old.
I turn 1 year older. It's very soon this week.
You do. It is this week, isn't it?
It is this week.
It's coming up.
That's all I got.
40? You're going to be 40?
Not going to be 40. 38. I had a count. I was like, how old am I? Am I 37?
I know. I had to count the other day. It sucks when it's so much. I got to count.
Yeah, it's still too far. Check out sportshangover.com. Subscribe to us on Substack, YouTube, wherever you are, TikTok. Use the code MagicMind /TSHJan or TSHJan when you're checking out. Get 45% off. That is it. My phone is ringing. Good show. See you.